Do you know what else needs to have the crap played out of it when it is probably released?
What's that, Ben?
Anyway, the new Nintendo Switch, which, as Braden mentioned at the top of the show, we totally got right.
We did. We knew exactly what was going to happen.
That's right. Go back through our YouTube videos. You can see the Nintendo Switch is just a port. We called it. And Dan was here as well.
I think Dan actually called it.
Yeah, we were talking about it one time in Greenlight. So basically, some rumors came out last week of a new Nintendo Switch coming out, and not exactly a Switch Pro, but sort of an upgrade. So you know how we had the new Nintendo DS and the new Nintendo DS XL? Sort of like
it's an upgrade system.
Yeah, an upgrade of what we've already got.
Yeah.
So they have found that it will probably be an OLED display putting out 1080p in handheld mode.
That's great.
I think it might be 720 in handheld mode. I may have got that wrong. I think it's 720 in handheld mode, but an OLED screen. And then the dock will upres it to 4K.
So the screen now is 720.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah. But the screen now is also LCD.
Yes.
So a little bit of difference there.
OLED screen's like the one that the Vita had, the first Vita. That was an amazing screen.
Exactly. So brighter and
yeah, just so vibrant.
Dock will upres it to 4K, which is what we suggested that they should do anyway, in order to cut costs down, and maybe you can keep your switches. Blah blah blah. I lost track of what I was saying. So
switches
blah, blah, blah.
so we can put our 4K games up on your 4K TV.
Yeah,
and have like 1080p in your hand. That'd be great.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. Nintendo president. Oh, sorry, I missed a point. It'll have a larger screen, which other YouTubers who are a lot more successful have measured how big the screen would be, and have found that if they cut out the bezel that surrounds the current screen...
I think the word is bezel.
What did I say? Bezel?
Bezel. It's not a Pokemon, mate.
The bezel. If they cut down on the bezel...
Go, bezel!
If they cut down on the bezel on the outside, it'll fit quite nicely with the supposed size of this new screen. So there's a chance that you could use your Joy-Cons with it still.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
If they don't drift to the left. Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa said in an interview that Nintendo consoles begin to drop off halfway through their life, so they are not resting with the Switch, which is why they're coming out with a new one now. Consoles usually go for about 7 years, 7 years. Switch is 4 years old now, so it is very much at that halfway point, according to that. And I think what they were doing was sort of holding off putting into production a higher quality version, just in case the Switch wasn't a success. So if they had another Wii U on their hands, they would have to be bringing out a different concept console now.
Look, the Switch is now become the fastest selling console. It overtook the Wii as the fastest selling console ever. It has had it has improved on itself in sales every single year so far.
Yep.
Like there is no financial need for them to do this, but I think timeline wise it's time that they announced it. But look, even if they didn't, this thing is not going to die. Like this Switch is just so awesome.
Yeah, it's in so many households that it'll keep on growing.
So I think it's the only thing that's the better seller so far is still the PS2. It's for the best selling console. But the Wii was the fastest selling one, and it's now been overtaken by the Switch. And
I believe in Japan, like Nintendo has 90% of the market or something, and Sony has like 5 or 10%.
Yeah, it's
like they just
what a switch. From the days when Japan had, I didn't even think about doing that, should have done it. What a switch from the days when like everyone had a Vita in like Japan, and PlayStations. And
but that's the thing about Japan as well, because it is a very transport heavy country.
Yeah, it's all reliant on the handhelds.
Subways. Yeah, so you go over there and try and buy a old Game Boy or a retro Game Boy. They are more expensive over there secondhand than they are here.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you cannot, unless you get a broken Game Boy and know how to fix it, like in a junk pile.
Yeah.
Or you get very, very lucky, which I was. I've told the story about my Torchic Game Boy SP.
I know what you're talking about.
It's a little Pokemon SP, which I got for $20 in the box.
$20 in a box?
Because one of the corners was slightly scratched or something.
Yeah, no, I didn't really.
All right, yeah, I'll take that.
I see. I would have thought that would have been cheap because they would have been more abundant.
No, because it was a Pokemon Center only one, so you could only get it in one Pokemon Center.
If it was a normal Game Boy.
Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about.
No, it's not.
Leakers from Reset Era have said there will be some select exclusives, especially from third-party partners. It may not be a big number of them, but there are at least one new Switch Pro game. So that's something that's really cool as well, the fact that they're looking at exclusive games for this Switch, much like they tried to do with the new 3DS with the higher or the more powerful chip.
There was a couple of games that were exclusive to the new 3DS, like
Xenoblade
Xenoblade
Pro?
Chronicles, and there was something because you needed the C-Stick.
Yep. And
And
they had that
was it a Monster
expansion.
Hunter?
Monster Hunter as well, but you
No,
did
no,
get the
Kid
expansion.
Icarus.
Oh, was it?
No, was
Uprising?
it?
No, because that came out in the 3DS.
Yeah, no, there's another one that required the C-Stick on the new 3DS.
Anyway, what do we think of this new Switch? I'm thinking 2021 release would be ideal, but I think realistically 2022.
I think November, late November 2021.
Really?
Yep.
This year? Is
Look-
that just to get those holiday sales?
I think that's what it'll be for. It'll be the jump on the Christmas bandwagon.
You reckon that they might tie it in with Breath of the Wild 2, and Breath of the Wild 2 might be an exclusive?
I know.
Or would
I
they
don't
be
think
that
they
silly?
would. No, I think that
That
would be stupid.
to do that.
I think that would be stupid to do that because you don't want to take what it's going to be your next best-selling game and limit it to just the people that have the new.
But do you think they'll
consoles.
release side by side?
Oh no,
No.
no,
Is that because you didn't pick it in our fantasy critic?
yes. Do I think it will happen? Yes. Do I want it to happen? No.
Something else I would like to see happen is Nintendo 64 and Game Boy games to become purchasable on the eShop store for this new Nintendo Switch. If it's got more power, they might be able to get past some of the emulation problems that they have. And hopefully we'll be able to purchase, like we could on the Wii. We could get them on the Wii. Why can't we get them on the Switch? Anyone? Braden?
The Game Boy games.
I was having a conversation with Kelly about this the other day, and it stemmed off a conversation complaining about why like sneaker culture is terrible now.
Yep.
The fact that I can't walk up to a game selling, or I can't go to Nintendo on my Switch and go, "Hey, I want to give you loads of money. Let me play the Pokemon games," and they're like, "Haha, no, go buy a Game Boy." Of a reseller.
Which we don't get any money for because it's second hand.
Exactly. And they're like, no, that's the only place you can play them.
Nintendo, it just...
I
one
think-
step
play
forwards,
Pokemon.
8 steps
I want to play
backwards.
all the Pokemon games. And they're like, you can't.
You can play the first 6
You know what I think they're going to do?
On the Switch.
on the DS.
Yeah, exactly. I want to play them on the Switch.
Yeah.
You know what I think they're
I
going to
would
do?
give them an abundant amount of money. They would make so much money. And I just can't.
How often do they add things to the online NES and SNES?
Whenever the hell they want.
Right. So I think that's what they're being kept for. Because they'll eventually have enough on there that they can't just keep adding SNES and NES games. They're
I
gonna
know,
go,
but-
cool, next tier, Nintendo 64.
How much money could they make? Like, they're using that as a make good on getting online, which
Yeah.
is very, very cheap. How much more money would they be able to make if they did it simply by going, here's the eShop, you can purchase this game, which they've done with Alex Kidd. They've done it with all the old Data East games. You can buy them. You can buy Turok because
Yeah.
its property went back to the supplier.
Okay. In the chat, Game Boy Dad has put out a prediction. He thinks it's going the new Switch will be in mid-2022, and it will coincide with either Pokemon... now, is this Arceus or
Arceus.
Arceus? Arceus Legends or Breath of the Wild 2 for a special edition console. Do you think that special edition... I think Breath of the Wild 2 will release earlier, and then they'll do one as a special, or you think they'll release it at the same time?
I think it'll probably be after. Like, they get the initial one out, and then they release a special
Yeah,
edition.
like they did with Mario Kart. They released...
Well, they did it with Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, they released it after the game.
Yeah. Yep. And the Switch Lite, the Pokemon one for Sword
What
and
else
Shield.
do you think they'll do with it? Do you think they'll do anything with the Joy-Cons?
Yeah, I was about to say. Lastly, get your Joy-Cons right, Nintendo. Like,
Can I say, I've never had a problem with a Joy-Con.
mine started to go and then stopped. So I'm just not tempting fate. But I primarily use my Switch in docked mode and use my...
Pro Controller?
Pro Controller.
That's what I do. I don't play it much undocked.
Does your Pro Controller, though, is that getting the old GameCube dust on the thumbstick?
No.
See, mine is. And I'm not a
Take
heavy
better care
player.
of your stuff, mate.
Sorry, you do know who you're talking to, don't you?
Someone who...
Mr. Nintendo.
Yeah.